Funny thing, time travel, isn't it?
Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast, this time recorded, in one of the empty rooms at work. I think some people would describe it as a boardroom, so forgive the echoey approach. Now, this time I'm going to be talking, for the last time, about a brand new monthly range release, number 275, The End of the Beginning. I really didn't think I would ever get to the point where I was talking about the last monthly range release. Seriously, I never thought this would happen. It's just weird to think this. The monthly range has been part of my life, for longer than my marriage. For longer than, most of the things that go on. It predates the death of my best friend. It's just incredibly important to me. It's been going for 20 odd years. Now, I know I'm at the back end of my 40s. But let's put it this way. It's been going on as long as Doctor Who did until, the 5 Doctors. It's monumental. And it's been a constant. It's been there through everything. So, forgive me if I wax lyrical, because let's face it, the Sirens of Time is where it all started, and that was a terribly, terribly long time ago. This was a time when there was no 8th Doctor, not on audio. The 9th Doctor, all of those things were pipe dreams, and that Big Finish was the only real Doctor Who that was out there. Can you imagine that? This was the world that we were part of. So, forgive me if I wax lyrical, and frankly, I'm a little bit upset by the fact that it's gone. Yes, I know that I was just making my little scribbly list in my notebook about what else I need to review, and realised that I'm about 12 Big Finish reviews behind. 12, I know, I'm so sorry. But I will catch up. There's been a lot on of late. So, this title was released in March 2021 and will be exclusively available to buy from the Big Finish website until the 30th of April, and then on general sale after that date. Here's the synopsis. The universe is in a state of crisis, facing destruction from the results of a strange spatio-temporal event, and the Doctor is involved in 3 different incarnations, each caught up in a deadly adventure, scattered across time and space. The whole of creation is threatened, and someone is hunting the Doctor. The 3 incarnations of the Doctor must join together to confront the implacable pursuer. But in doing so, will they unleash a still greater threat? Right, first off, let's just say very, very good. Robert Valentine has taken on, the same job that Nick Briggs gave himself way, way back. A multi-Doctor story, 3 different Doctors appearing in each of their individual tales with an interlinked thread that brings everyone together at the very end for the 4th part. Story-wise, no. Framework-wise, it's the same. Now, it's also a bit of a nostalgia fest, to be fair. You've got the 5th Doctor and Turlough in the first story, with, echoes of what's going on with the future. But you've also got, the problem with this is Do I talk about this, or do I just give away too many spoilers? You've known me long enough, almost 1,000 podcasts, to know that I won't be giving away spoilers. But what I will be doing is saying that each of these individual stories, the Fifth Doctor, which is almost a pseudo-historical, the Sixth Doctor, a futuristic tale that's got a return of a character we saw in the Lovecraft story, which was so brilliant. And then the last story, well, the third story, which has got the Eighth Doctor and, more importantly, a return of India Fisher as Charlie, giving us a lovely bit of circular narrative. There are characters who have been hinted at elsewhere appearing here. It's basically a love letter to the entire main range, because each of the individual stories feel more complete, more like an actual adventure, more than a short trip. Also, it does feel like we've sort of been plonked halfway through the storylines that happen, as if they were all 4-part stories that existed elsewhere. So then that brings us up to the final part, which of course brings everyone together. There is something that needs to be dealt with, and it needs to be more than a MacGuffin, more than just something that brings everyone together. And weirdly, and more impressively than elsewhere, it works. It's actually needed for the storyline. This is a feat when it comes to multi-Doctor stories. And the fact that some of these characters may or may not have met in the past is dealt with as well. It's all beautifully sewn together. Yes, the box has got Doctors 5, 6, 8 and the silhouette of 7 all appearing on the front, which just makes yourself happy. And you know what? I love this. It's a great ending to the greatest of all Doctor Who series. Because, let's face it, Doctor Who on audio has always been and will always be better than Doctor Who on TV by any measure. And that may not be a popular opinion, but it's mine, and I will defend it to the death. So, listen to this, and I know you will. I'm not even going to tell you to make up your own mind, because your own mind is that this is well worth having. I wish I'd not sold some of my earlier discs, because right now I'd quite like to have a full set. The Doctor Who fan in me will never truly die. But needs must when I was skint. So, listen to the trailer, decide for yourself if you must, and enjoy the last ever main range release. I'm sure there's going to be far, far too much to fill our times and spaces. So until next time, be seeing you.
From Big Finish Productions.
It was the end of everything. Finally, I realized the purpose for which I had been chosen. I declared war on the universe.
Doctor,
Cholo,
before we die, can we at least agree that this was all your fault?
if it makes you happier.
Not really.
The city. It is said to house a great jewel, known as the Zalam.
The darkness. Good grief.
By all that's holy.
Don't be alarmed. This is simply an artifact of another civilization.
It's a lot more impressive than yours, isn't it?
Size isn't everything.
Well, Mrs. Clark, welcome to Huygens End Spaceport. Life is fast and short in these parts, so be careful.
Sounds like the Wild West.
From my obsidian throne in the Fortress of Night, I assembled the means to begin my war.
Doctor, Mrs. C, welcome aboard the Black Star.
Charming, I'm sure.
I am a Time Lord.
A Time Lord? Oh, is that supposed to impress me?
They're following us.
Can we outrun them?
They've taken out my starboard thruster. Doctor, you better think of something.
Oh, rather dark, isn't it? Don't worry, love.
You'll be safe with me.
There's a new child of the night in town.
Another one like you?
When I started selling off my paintings, I thought I was being completely discreet.
I should hope so, Highgate. Artists do usually tend to stop painting once they're dead.
Oh no.
We might very well be standing on all that's left of,
The lost moon of Batoya.
Doctor.
Hello, Doctor.
And Charlie, isn't it? You remember Turlo?
Doctor, is that really a future version of you?
Indeed it is.
Oh, you become awfully...
What?
Tasteful.
There is a legend, a prophecy, if you will, of a great unraveling. And it's said to have started here.
To me, it sounds more like a weapon.
No wonder the ancients hid it.
In the wrong hands, it would be a terrible thing.
What have you done?
Isn't it obvious, my boy? I've started it up!
Big Finish. We love stories.
Funny thing, time travel, isn't it?
A Villain in Venice, Jane of the Air, Book 1. A steampunk detective and aviatrix and part-time spy. Available now. All profits to the NHS.
That was the Tin Dog Podcast. Available on Spotify, iTunes, Acast, Stitcher and wherever good podcasts are found. Get early access to content by subscribing to the Tin Dog Podcast YouTube channel. You can support the show at patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on Twitter at tindogpodcast or email tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. All of the things discussed are the intellectual property of others. No infringement is intended. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.